Oh,
Yeah, I can't do it that way. No.
Good morning. Welcome to Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Northern Nevada. My name is Bob Alto, and I am your worship associate. I go by the pronouns he, him, his. In this UUFNN community, you can pass from fear to a joyful here, where passions, justice, self, and spiritual growth abide. It matters not your gender, age, sexual orientation, socioeconomic or immigration status, your ethnicity. Your story finds connection in this sacred place. As a newcomer or a visitor, you are especially welcomed and invited to fill out the newcomer form as indicated on the screen. And you can access the directions also in the chat function. You will remain muted during the service, but you can share your joys, concerns, and cares during prayer and meditation in the chat box. At the end of our service, you are invited to friendly conversation during our small group interactive coffee hour. So thank you for joining us.
You're invited into this time this morning, this time of nurture and reflection, and opening ourselves to finding something that we might discover that we didn't even know we needed. You're invited this morning to come with your whole self, fully present, as if we were in person together, heart, mind, body, spirit. Let us come fully present to ourselves and each other in a profound way and mysterious way in this time together this morning. You're invited to access the chalice that you have nearby as we light our chalices to open our service. And Joshua Rosenberg and Mom Amanda will light our chalice for us.
Hello. Chalice Lighting Words by Maureen Ferran. As we weather the winds of change, may we have the wisdom to cherish moments of stillness. As we recollect times of challenge and pain, may we remember also the graceful blessings of our lives. As we look to future unknowns, may we have the boldness to trust that there is unimagined good yet to come. All right. You want to help me?
No.
No? Oh, you did so well in practice. Come on. Okay. I'll light it. Yay.
This is the keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going on song. This is the keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going on song.
This is the keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going on song.
I am Abigail, and this is Sean, and we're so glad that you've turned this on and welcomed us into your home, and you are welcome into our home. We're in Dayton, Ohio. We're in Sean's parents' house.
My parents' house.
Sean's parents' house. We were in Louisville when the hit, and we packed our 3-year-old into a car. We drove kind of far. We drove here, and we've been so lucky and blessed to be safely here. And we thought we'd be here for like 10 days, tops.
What did we know?
What did we know?
What
did we know? We thought we knew a lot. We thought we knew a lot.
Keep going, keep going,
Woo!
keep going on.
Keep going on song. This is a keep going, keep going, keep going on. Keep going on song. This is a keep going, keep going, keep going on. Keep going on song. And we've been mostly healthy. We've been okay. Are you okay? Are you all right? Are you okay? Are you all right? Are you okay? I hope your body is whole tonight. And if your heart is breaking, I hope it's breaking open. And if your breath is shaking, I hope it's shaking through. And I hope that you've watched a lot of really great television, like a lot of it. And I hope that you find a hand lotion that actually makes your skin feel better. And I hope that you have enough to eat. I hope you're getting enough sleep, and I hope you have enough good company or enough good memory to last you a long time. Keep going, keep going, keep going on. Keep going on song. We sing the keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going on. Keep going on song. Let's bring some joy into the room, why not? We can try it, or some rage, and some grief and relief. Ooh, I hope my rage, I pray my Rage is a fire that cleans my mind out and makes me ready to listen. I pray. My pain is a river that flows to the ocean that connects my pain to yours. And I pray my happiness is like pollen that flies to you and pollinates your joy. Oh boy, is that possible? I don't know, we are making this up as we go. We have to make it up as we go. The keep going song, oh, we're making it up as we go. Keep going on, keep going on song. And I pray that when we meet again, that the world has changed into the world that we are imagining now together. And I pray that the world has become the world that we're planting inside of ourselves for each other and for our ancestors and for our kids. Ooh, and we're gonna start. This is a rough beginning. That's all I've got is a rough beginning to offer you. We're gonna start by singing some songs in this tiny space together. We're just gonna sing some songs for you, and we hope that when you hear them, you will feel a little bit less alone, and we will feel a little bit less alone in the work and in the hurt, and we will be together tonight somehow, whenever this is, wherever this is. We will be together tonight for the keep going on song. This is a keep going on song. This is a keep going on song. This is a
I love those Bergsons. I want to introduce you this morning to the guardian spirit of UUFNN. This is one of our resident hawks, beautiful photo by Bill Quinby. And this hawk tends to hang out up in one of the trees surrounding our property, often looking down upon the great room building. And many of you know that I'm very connected to birds and especially to hawks. And so I watch for the hawks around our property, and they tend to show up in pivotal moments sometimes on Sunday mornings. And there was a service that I was a little bit anxious about recently, and I walked out to the back of the building before we got started, and the hawk was up in the tree looking over everything. And then when we finished the service, I walked out there and it wasn't there. And then I went back a little bit later and there were two hawks sitting just a few inches apart on that very branch, looking down upon our property where UUFNN has from time to time centered itself. And so it means a lot to me, the presence of these hawks, named Guardian Spirit of UUFNN by Bill Quinby. Another type of hawk that I really love is the osprey. The osprey lives around bodies of water, and underneath the osprey is white, so that when it swoops down to fish, the white of its underside blends in with the sunshine and with the foam of the water. It's a bit of a camouflage. It's harder for the fish to see. I want to show you a video that I think is quite something, and I'm going to ask you to watch and empathize and reflect and see if you can relate to this at all. Watch carefully and watch the eyes.
Тихо, тихо. Не бойся. Тихо, тихо. Не бойся, не бойся. А это как? Тихо, тихо. Отпусти. Это даже не ветка. Ну да. Видите, уже весной. Это как дело. Это как дело. А тут, надеюсь, не мешает тебе. Так и оставь.
This is the time in our service when we have the opportunity to share our bounty and support with each other. Since we are not physically together, to pass the basket, we can do so virtually by texting 73256 and putting UUFNN in the message box and hit send. Then follow the instructions to provide your offering. You can also mail a check to the office at 780 Del Monte Lane, Reno, 89511. The most convenient way to donate is to sign up for automatic giving. Contact the office and Carol will send you an automatic draft authorization form. The April Share the Plate recipient is My Journey Home, where ex-offenders and veterans through programs integrate safely with family and community. You can indicate that also in your offering. In these times of transitions, anxiety, and challenges, our UU spiritual community has kept us alive and thriving through the gifts of service and support, from phone calls to meals to active outreach through our UU board, the Borderlands Justice Team, the Verdi Posse, etc. Love, compassion have been expressed in so many ways. Now let the offering begin. Please join with me to dedicate the offering to the work of this fellowship, which is helping more people grow in love, faith, justice, and joy. We dedicate ourselves and these our offerings.
As we enter into our time a little bit earlier in our service than we sometimes do, we join our hearts and our minds and our spirits together as one for a time of community meditation and prayer. I'm going to invite you this morning as we enter into this time together to find your feet, wiggle your toes, as a reminder that we are spiritual beings who get to live in bodies. Sometimes we forget to have awareness of our bodies. I'm just going to remind us to wiggle our toes and ground our energy into the earth, knowing that we are held by our mother, the earth, and we are loved and worthy to be held in a profound way. I'm going to invite you to place one hand over your heart this morning and become aware with that hand of all of the intricacies and connections of our bodies. We are wondrously made. Bring your awareness to the way that your heart is beating. Just feel that for a moment. This wondrous heart that is sending blood and oxygenized blood all through our bodies, enlivening us, animating us. And when we breathe in, we take a breath, and that oxygen goes deep into our lungs and then helps to circulate that fresh oxygen all throughout our being. And so we recognize this morning that we are wondrous and mysterious beings. We are held by our Mother, the Earth. We are held by this community. We are loved, and we are worthy, and we are enough. Invite you in these moments to offer your joys and your concerns, your celebrations, your hopes into the chat box in these moments together so that we can hold them all together as one. Some of our intentions of our hearts, our prayers, our meditations live in such a deep place that we have no words. And so we gather even those. We gather all that have been recorded and all that have been left unspoken. And we hold them together in the heart of love. And we offer our gesture one to another, one hand on the heart, one hand extended forward, palm outward, as a way of sending our energy to each other and saying, I see you, I hear you. We are all in this together. May you never feel alone. Amen. We have been at this COVID experience for over a year now. And as we see ourselves beginning able to move out of it just a little bit in some ways, but not in others, sometimes the stress reactions and the stress that many of us have been holding down and suppressing for the last while has a way of coming out sideways at times. And perhaps to keep that in check, maybe we have some opportunities to do some intentional work in our lives to help us pay attention to that, to help bring awareness. Many of you know that I began my ministry in the 90s in a congregation in the Castro of San Francisco that was about 90 to 95% gay men. And the Castro was ground zero of the AIDS pandemic at that time, and that congregation lost hundreds of beautiful gay men to AIDS. There was not a lot of time to do much theological reflection or intentional planning. Much of our staff meetings were spent figuring out who was going to do the 3 or 4 memorial services that would happen that week, just about every Saturday. A favorite story during that time, when hundreds of us would come together for worship, was the story from the New Testament about Lazarus. Now, some of you might know that story. Lazarus was a beloved member of the community who had passed away, and they gather at the tomb after he had been dead for 4 days, and Jesus calls Lazarus out of the tomb. And those gathered say, you know, it's not going to smell good. This is going to be really bad if we open the tomb. And so Jesus calls Lazarus forth, and behold, Lazarus walks out. And what Jesus says to the gathered community is, because Lazarus still has the grave cloths surrounding him, and Jesus says, unbind him. Unbind him. And Lazarus comes back to life. When I was working in this community in San Francisco, the Metropolitan Community Church of San Francisco, it was a story that had layers upon layers of meaning, different meanings for different people in those years of so many dying of AIDS. And as the years went on, eventually, the retroviral drugs, the protease inhibitors, came into play. And it saved the lives of many men. And this Lazarus story became real. I can remember one particular man that I sat at the bedside with, and he was expected to die within a matter of hours or days. And then he didn't. He came back to life. Many of these men sold their life insurance policies once they were HIV positive. They expected to die. They expected to have a short time. They knew that their life would come to an end prematurely. And then the new drugs. The story of that man was not an isolated story. It was a story that lived in the community, and over time, less and less of the men were dying because the drugs were working. And it was a new beginning, a new lease on life, a new way of looking at life in that community. When I watched this video of the bird, the osprey, entangled in fishing line and being all bound up, I couldn't help but think about the story of Lazarus as I watched the fishing line being cut away and the bird get set free. And so it made me wonder, what is it in these days that might be holding us back? What is keeping us entangled? What is binding us? What might we want to look at in that regard? Some of us have developed some habits as a way of coping during COVID. Maybe some of us are eating too much or drinking too much or sleeping too too little. Maybe we've been holding on to anger. Maybe we've been not wanting to apologize. Maybe we've been stuck not wanting to forgive. You probably know what it might be that might be holding you back, entangling you, binding you up. And so I'm going to invite us to watch this video a second time. And I invite us to ponder how we might embrace this metaphor for our lives of unbinding and untangling. The first time we watched the video, there were some overlays that came at the end that prevented us from seeing the dramatic flyaway of the osprey. And if that happens the second time, I'm just going to ask you to imagine it. To imagine it. You can see that the osprey is completely stuck, feeling stuck and entangled and bound up by the fishing line. What is it that is entangling you, keeping you stuck, holding you back, binding you up? As we watch this time, I invite you to feel yourself making the effort to disentangle. One step at a time. One piece of fishing line cut away at a time. A little piece at a time. Feel the relief at making those decisions. Feel those around you helping, supporting, lovingly helping you get free. Feel the connection that is possible when we ask for help to get free of what binds us and entangles us. Feel what is possible. The connection in the eyes says it all. Sometimes we have to ask for help of those around us, of our community. Anticipate how breaking free and taking flight might feel. Imagine that osprey dramatically spreading its wings and feeling that they are free for the first time in maybe quite a while, and taking flight across that beautiful body of water. Carry this image with you. Set free a piece at a time, one small action at a time, until they culminate in the fullness of freedom and taking flight. What does taking flight look like for you? May it be so. Blessed be. I want to thank you so much for joining us for our service this morning. We have a few closing announcements before our closing song. A couple of very exciting things I want to make you aware of. As you know, we have been doing some work on creating a culture of anti-racism here at UUFNN and doing our internal work. And we are bringing in a very exciting team to do that work with us. And it's going to begin on April 21st, Wednesday at 6:30, and we'll do 3 Wednesdays, 90-minute sessions, April 21st, May 5th, and May 19th, to do this work of looking at our communication and our microaggressions and learning together. It's going to be very exciting, and I really want all of you to sign up and register and be part of this time together. It's going to be very important for our community to do this work together. There's an announcement in your email. We'll send out a special announcement of how to register next week, but that's going to start on April 25th and go for 3 alternating Wednesdays, 2 weeks in between, 1 in April and 2 in May. And then also I wanted to make you aware that we are going to present a Bobby Talso Memorial Social Justice Lecture on Wednesday, April 28th at 6:30. And Beverly Harry is our speaker for that lecture. And she is a leader in our local Navajo tribe. She works with PLAN, our Progressive Leadership Alliance. And Beverly is a water protector. She's a leader in taking care of the sacred lands and waters. And you will not want to miss this Bobby Talso Memorial Lecture on April 28th. So we need your Wednesdays over the next few weeks. Please do make plans to participate. This is a number of things that we have been working hard on for a long time, and it's very exciting to have these coming together now. Also, just a quick reminder that we are trying to bring together the final pieces of the pledge effort. We're at 308,000. We're at 92%. If you haven't had the opportunity.
I'm aware that there are some concerns and strong feelings in the congregation about how we may or may not be moving forward toward reopening and how and when we would do this. Being Unitarian Universalists, we of course have many strong opinions and feelings. There's the old joke that if you take 3 UUs, you'll get 5 opinions. And then there's also the joke about how many UUs does it take to screw in a light bulb? The answer is 300, because you need to appoint committees, arrange the people to do it with all the disagreements along the way, including 177 to debate the ecological impact of using a light bulb at all. So anyway, Linda Bauman, my co-president, and I would like to give you an update. As you're all no doubt aware, the medical metrics have vastly improved since the holidays, and the governor is moving forward to allow more opening up. However, there remain areas of concern, for example, the spreading of the variants of the virus, which seems to be more transmissible. While many of us older people in the congregation may now be fully vaccinated, vaccinations for the 16 to 64 age group have only just begun, and vaccinations for those under 16 are not yet authorized. So while we would love to be able to reopen as soon as possible, we cannot yet do that. The Board of Trustees have been looking at various steps we can take to gradually move in that direction. We are very interested in your views and want to gauge the pulse of the congregation around the issue of reopening. So the board will be sending you a short survey. Please look for this in your email in the next 2 to 3 weeks and let us know how you feel. This will not be asking you when we should reopen. This is a decision for the board and staff to make together. But we are hoping that your views will help us as we make tentative plans moving forward. When we do reopen in person, we will retain services on Zoom or another platform, as many of you have told us that you would like to see that continue even when we're back meeting in person. In that way, you can continue to be in the service if you do not feel comfortable attending in person, or you just prefer to watch the service from the comfort of your own home. In the meanwhile, we have some events to look forward to, and I hope you'll be able to join us. The first one will be the celebration on May 1st at 2:30 to acknowledge Karen and Kristen's accomplishments. This will be outside and of course socially distanced. We would ask you to hang in there, to trust that we're doing our best, that we have the best intentions, and that we will be moving forward as soon as we're able to do so. The board is not trying to rush reopening. However, we're not ignoring the question of reopening either. We want to balance the needs of the congregation, your physical safety, and your mental and emotional health. Please be patient with us, and that we are doing our best to keep you informed and to keep your spirits up. What we don't need after a year when we have done really well, all things considered, is to have misinformation and rumors. So ask us, contact us if you want to know more or are not sure what is happening. You can call me or Linda Bauman or any other of the board members, and of course the staff. We want to be able to address your concerns as best we can, and we will be giving you regular updates. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rosalind, and thank you for joining our service today. And we hope that you have received something today that means something to you, maybe something that you didn't even know that you needed. And let's join together with Glenn Thomas right out. Please sing along and join in with There's a River, bringing all the images of this service with you into that song.
Dum, 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 dum. There's a river somewhere that flows through the lives of everyone, and it flows through the mountains and the valleys and the meadows of time. There's a star in the sky that brightens the lives of everyone, and it brightens the mountains and the valleys and the meadows of time. Yes, I do. Oh, yes, I do. 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 Yes, I do. There's a star in your eye that brightens the lives of everyone. brightens the mountains and the valleys and the meadows of time. Yes, it is a sweet song of love that sweetens the lives of everyone. And it sweetens the mountains and the valleys and the meadows of time. Yes, yes, it do. And there's a voice from the past that speaks to the lives of everyone, the lives of everyone. And it speaks through the mountains and the valleys and the meadows of time. There's a smile in your eyes that shines through the lives of everyone, and it shines through the mountains and the valleys and the meadows of time. Yes, it do. Yes, it do. Oh, yes, it do. Oh, yes, it do. Oh, yes, it do. Yes, it do. Oh, yes, it do. Oh, yes, it do. Oh, yes, it do. Yes, it do. Oh, yes, it do. Oh, yes, it do. Oh, yes, it do. Yes, you do. Oh, yes, you do. Oh, yes, you do. Oh, yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yes, oh, yes, you do. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yes, 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 there's a river somewhere. Yes, there's that flows through the light. Yes, there's a everyone that flows through the light. And it flows through the mountains and the valleys and the meadows of time. Yes, it flows.
Please do stay on for our time of coffee hour and small group conversations. You'll need to accept the invitation when it comes to you. And beloved, let us form our sign and symbol of our connection in our windows, remembering that no one is alone and we are all in this together. Would you receive the blessing? Beloved, you have a spark of love within that allows you to have new beginnings, to take steps to disentangle and be unbound where that needs to happen. You have what it takes to begin again and take flight and live in love. Blessed be, amen, and namaste.